A good afternoon to you. This should be 5 o'clock on the clock, and you are now attending the afternoon session where we will be doing information communications technology on module 2. In this session, we have said we will focus on operating systems. We've done the Windows one, and I hope you went to YouTube and you played around and you found something you liked around how to use Windows. Today, before we go, I would put a link also on a YouTube. You can also try that shows you the difference between a Windows operating system and a MacBook operating system. For ease of application, I've put for you a link on the Apple website itself on how to use their product. And I'll take you through that. I will not take you through everything. After all, we have an hour. And in this hour, we'll then only discuss some salient features, just the things that will get you by. And when you're done with them, you should at least be able to connect through a MacBook and use one. Okay, thumbs up if you are here and you can hear me. Say something on the chat box. We need some sort of proof of life that you guys are here. Thank you, Chaninda. I can see you guys are here. We're ready to go, right? I'll go back to my screen. I think it's paused. You're not able to see it. So let me go back to that screen where I was sharing. Okay, so that's the screen that I am sharing. If you are not able to see the screen that I am now sharing, you can simply go to the link, and on the link, you'll be able to see something written Mac OS user guide for Mac OS Sonoma. They do have different versions. Sonoma is the most recent version. You could actually access the other versions of these applications the same way as we said you can access Windows 97, Windows 10, and probably the most current or up-to-date version should be Windows 11, unless there's something you have not seen. And the easiest way to navigate through this, in any case, what you are actually looking at is a MacBook web browser. So you can see there's not much difference from what you would have seen on a Windows computer. The browser looks exactly the same. The only difference then is, as you can see, I'm pointing to the left. Instead of having your close button, minimize button, and the button that collapses the whole window to the taskbar on the right on MacBooks, those buttons are actually on the left. But anything else should look very familiar for you. Now, to take you through this, I'll open the table of contents so that if you are not seeing what I'm seeing, what others are seeing on screen and what I'm working with, you can also follow through your own browser at home. So what we then go to, let's go to get to know the desktop. So you can see that MacBooks also do have a menu bar, but the menu bar on the MacBook, as you could see now, it looks a little bit like what you would have seen on a Windows computer. But instead of finding this menu bar having file, edit, and all of those, when you open an application in Microsoft Windows, you need to open, for example, Microsoft Word or Excel or any other program for you to see the full menu bar floating. But if you're using a MacBook, the menu bar will always be there. It will float on top, and you would identify it if you look at the screen on the top left corner. You will see it's got an Apple logo, and it will follow the application you open. So if you open Microsoft Word, the menu bar will mimic what you generally find in Microsoft Word, and it will follow that. If you would open any other app, it will generally mimic the things you find in the app. But on the far right, it will give you a status bar that tells you if you're connected to the internet, whether your battery is low, whether you are recording sound, the date and time. If the MacBook is not customized, you will be able to see it as plain as simple as that. So let me then discuss customize. If you then buy a brand new MacBook, install it, the screen will be clear, no customizations. And the video I'll give you later, you can then go through that and you see a very clean screen on MacBook, not customized. But what then happens with MacBooks, just like if you bought an iPhone or even your phone that you're having, is once somebody gets their MacBook, they start treating it the same way you would have treated your cell phone. They start installing apps, they start changing the look and feel about it. So it is very likely that the look and feel of the MacBook that you will be looking at work for your manager or a client or somebody you'll be interacting with, or your own, has actually changed. It doesn't really have the same look and feel, the same as you would do with Windows. In Windows, we said you can customize your desktop. There is the same thing that we are discussing here, that you can actually customize your look and feel. So the Apple menu on its own can be seen by the Apple logo. So if you press the Apple logo on the top left corner, it will show you the Apple menu. The Apple menu that will be able to, you'll see features like about this Mac. It will be probably the first feature that you will see at the top. System setting, App Store, recent items, for speed, sleep, restart, shutdown. Now you see sleep, restart, and shutdown in a Windows computer. You found them on the left, but you found them on the bottom left. And similarly, on a Windows computer, the older ones, Windows 97, you would press start, and the other versions. But you've also realized that when you worked on, or when you check the video, and the one you are using now at the office, if you're using a Windows computer, you actually press the same thing. You press the Windows logo, the one that looks like four windows, bluish at the bottom left corner. Same thing. Here you press the Apple because it's an Apple computer. But instead of it being at the bottom, it is at the top. And shutdown does exactly the same thing that would have happened in the Windows computer. It will shut down the computer, to close the computer altogether. Lock screen, it will not close the computer, it will lock the screen and require a password for you to be able to access the screen. In the Windows computer, if you did that, it will give you a screensaver. Log out option, it will not shut down the computer, but it will log out from the current user. In the Windows computer, we said you switch users. You're able to move from one user to another if you've got multiple users on the computer. The next thing you will see, so if you were to move the mouse button from the left to the right, you will then see the application that is opening. Currently, I'm talking to you. We are looking at a browser. I've opened the browser. I'm sharing what is on the browser. The browser that I'm using is Safari. If you were sitting on front of my computer, you'll see it will say Safari. Then it will give you the normal things you find on an application window. You'll get file, edit, view. Because this is a web browser, it will have history, bookmarks. And an interesting thing then with the MacBook is you'll have window. If you were in a Windows computer, if you press on window, for example, it will give you details around the window you are using. But in this instance, if you moved over to window, it gives you a list of all the only window we have at the moment, the only window we have, it is the window which is Safari window is currently open, is the one that I'm currently using. So I'm going to go back into sharing my screen so that you can see what I was actually working with. So we back. So you can see that if I open the menu, I'm able to see this. So if we go back on your screen, you've got the Apple menu where you've got voice memos. That shows you that you are now working on a voice memo. You've got file, edit, view, controls, window, and then help. And then they show you the other blue side where you now have the actual voice memo itself. You've got the battery, you've got the internet connections, and moving right along to show you the other status bars. So all those items are listed here. You can go through this and check them out. I'm going to go back into the main menu so that I can take you into the other items. Now, working on the desktop, I have been saying to you, well, a desktop would look more like the same Windows desktop. If you look at the screen now, I've opened the tab that says get to know the Mac desktop if you're navigating away from the screen and you're using your own navigation on your computer. You can see that it gives you the same screen as you would have had on a Windows computer, but differently, it's got something at the bottom. It's got a line of icons at the bottom. So these icons are docked at the bottom as if they are packed at the bottom. Each and every one of those items works exactly the same way you would have used the tiles in Windows 11 or Windows 10 as you went through it the other day. You saw that Windows 10 has got tiles. You can click, for example, on a browser tile. You'll be able to go to Windows Explorer. The same. If I were to click on the first one I see, it's Finder. I don't know what's on the second one there. It's too small for me to see. But the third one, it is Safari. Fourth one is SMSs, and it's followed by messages, it's followed by maps, so you are able to see what I'm actually talking about now. And then the calendar going through. If you click on any of those, it makes that application live. And you'll be able to access that application and work with it. Inside this tutorial, while you're browsing around, it will show you how you change the desktop pictures. And if you click on the link, you'll be able to customize and change the desktop picture so that the desktop pictures are in a way you like. So I'm scrolling right back. See the desktop pictures there, it's the rocks. But then on the other side, there's a second one of the lady with something on the shoulder. I think it's a hoe and plowing hoe. And you can see at the bottom, it's another one of nature. If you click any of those pictures becomes the background picture of your MacBook. At the moment, if your MacBook is new, it will come with a blank background. The background you see behind the rocks, it will be a clean slate background, and you are able to customize it and change it the same way you customize. How you do it, please go through, change those desktop pictures so that you can then later, don't do it now, so later when you are alone, go through that. I've sent you the link. You'll be able to customize and change. You'll click there and then you customize and change. I won't go into it also. Change the desktop appearance. The same way on Windows, this allows you to change the desktop appearance. The link will provide you access to how you change the desktop appearance. But here's also one interesting thing about a MacBook computer is it gives notifications. It works more like your cell phone. When you receive, you can see it does receive SMSs. So when you receive an SMS will pop on screen. When you receive certain notifications, those notifications will pop on screen. Sometimes you're working in a public space and you don't want those notifications to pop on the screen every time. You want to switch the notifications on. You will then go to the Apple logo, select preferences, and you change notifications. But here they've given you a link for you to go through and you see how you customize and you change those notifications. The changing notifications feature, it's important if, especially for example, you're sitting in a plane and before it leaves, you're trying to pick up something and your internet is on, your messages will pop up and the person sitting next door will be able to read. So maybe you want to get away, to do away with those notifications, or you're in a restaurant, you can switch off notifications. And you go back into your office, you want to see people sending you WhatsApps and things like that, you can get the notifications to pop up again. The desktop on, I'm going to go back to the top. You can see the blue background, and even where the picture is docking is the desktop. So the desktop in a MacBook is the same as the desktop in Microsoft Word. You are able to put documents, icons. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you plug in a memory stick or an external drive, you'll see it on the top right side of your desktop, not exactly the corner, but it will appear on your right, and you'll be able to see that, oh, I've now plugged a memory stick or an external drive. You can open it and use it from there. But you can also put other things. You can put shortcuts, you can put documents. I don't encourage that save documents inside on the desktop. It's a clumsy way of doing things. At the later stage, we will discuss how to save things inside a computer by using an archiving process. When we discuss that, we'll be able to do that. I think when we do one of our live sessions, we'll be able to do that on a Saturday. Then we can play around and you can look at how I stack these up. But to make things quicker for you, I'll also at some time send you a YouTube video to see from different commentators so that you can see which one you like. But those people will show you how you can actually put folders using my computer. If you're using Windows, which I do not recommend, you would, if you've got Dropbox, I recommend always make your documents live on Dropbox, because whatever happens, you can always use Dropbox to access the whole system. If you're using Google Drive, you can also use Google Drive as well. If you want to find a window on the desktop, you use something called Mission Control on a MacBook. To find Mission Control, you simply move the mouse to the top right corner. It will show all the different windows that are currently open, and you click on the window that you want to use and you access it. Of course, when there are not too many, sometimes the windows are just too many. And if I were you, I would close the windows that I'm not using and probably have 3, 4, 5 those windows tops, and I can be able to navigate around a window that I'm working with. Just like on a Windows computer, you are able to multitask on a MacBook and use different desktops. You do that through display, and display will allow you to work in many spaces. You can do that by connecting an external monitor, go to display, and you'll have 2 monitors working at the same time. The other one could be primary monitor, the other one could be secondary, or you can connect your iPad. So you can connect to your iPad, or you can also connect through your cell phone if you're using the bigger screen ones. Then you can be able to use that device as an extra screen. You can also use applications that allow you to use the very same screen, but change it into different desktops. One of those I've said last time was you can use an application called Veer, Veer. You'd have to buy it. But if you check online, you should be able to find the free ones, and Mac OS should have the one that you can use. If you are interested in that, go on Work in Multiple Spaces, click on it, then you'll be able to see how you can use a MacBook in multiple spaces. So I'll just go back, one step back. We have looked at working on the desktop. I'll quickly click on search with Spotlight. Spotlight is an option on the MacBook. So if you looked on the MacBook screen and you look at the top left corner of the MacBook, you would probably see far left, you'll see time. Far right, sorry, on the far right, you'll see time. It's followed by the date. It's followed by an option where you command center, where you can connect the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and all of those. You pass through that, and there will be a small button that looks like an hourglass. If you clicked on that small button that looks like an hourglass, then you would have something like this. That would be Spotlight. So what you do with Spotlight is you type in what you are looking for, you search. If you are looking for your YouTube video, for example, it's helpful to start with the word YouTube, and then you type how to use a Mac, for example. Because if you just type on Spotlight, Spotlight will search and give you everything there is to find. It helps for you to use a keyword to guide your computer what to use. The quickest way to find Spotlight is to also press Command and space. So you hold down Command with your left. By the way, I'm left-handed, so I will always think left. So it's also available on the right. So you can hold down Command with one finger and press with a space bar with the other finger. You probably think ring finger on Command, hold it down, and thumb on spacebar, it'll open a search feature. And then you use it the same way to find things. Why is this important? This is important because it is actually your lifesaver in a MacBook. If you want to find anything in a MacBook, the quickest way to actually find it is to use Spotlight. Spotlight is one of those features you use that come up with the application itself, but you can buy one of the programs, and you'll hear me a lot saying on MacBook you can buy. So on a MacBook, you can also buy one of the programs that you can use is Alfred. So if you can buy Alfred, works exactly like Spotlight, but it has got better features. So it's got more sophisticated features for you to search. You can search in the MacBook itself. You can search the internet. It can give you a more cleaner and refined search. That's what Alfred will do. Just works like Spotlight. So this tutorial here gives you a guideline on how to use Spotlight and how to get there. I'm going to go back so that we move away from Spotlight because I'm just giving the highlights of how you move this. You want to change settings on a MacBook. The best way to think of it is think of how you change the settings on your cell phone. It's exactly the same. You use the settings feature that looks like a gear button. And once you press the settings feature that looks like a gear button, you are able to find different settings you want to change. You want to change the sound. You want to change the speakers to use. You want to change this and that. You go into settings. But let me click on quickly use settings. There you are. I've shown you that you can go to the top right corner of the MacBook. On the top right corner of the MacBook, you'll be able to find the time, so to help you with the relevance. The next thing, if you moved to the left, you'd find the date. You'd find the next one on mine is Siri, but after Siri, you then find the control center. The control center is exactly what will give you quick access to change settings. It will not give you complicated settings like you would do when you, for example, go to settings, like you go to Spotlight, type settings, get a gear icon like that's written settings, the same way as you would have done on your cell phone with many settings on it. Here, you at least at a glance can look at basic things to do, like display. Do you want the screen to be bright or do you want the screen to be a little bit dimmer? Do you want the sound to be loud or do you want the sound to be a little bit softer? If there is something on the MIDI or on the media, like in my case, I've opened a YouTube on the other side that says Mac tutorials. So if I click on the play button that will appear at the bottom, it will actually play the whole media. So that gives you quick access to your settings. For example, storage manager, it helps you to check how much storage is left in your computer. Screen monitoring, it helps you with how to set up dual screens, how to connect to a projector, how to connect to a TV, and all of that. These settings you can find on the control center. In the tutorial, you've got an example of what the control center is, and I've talked to you looking at a live one on a computer here. But if I'm scrolling down, you can now see what I was talking about. You say, aha, okay, so the time is 9:41 a.m. on that example, June 5, Monday. And there you are. That small button is the control center. And if you click on it, that's what it will do. It will then also at the top highlight the app you're using. You're currently using, the user was currently recording, therefore he's using a voice recorder. That is why you are able to see the voice recording feature that appears at the top. But underneath it, you are now able to see the things I was talking to you about, the Wi-Fi's and all of those. Is the quickest way to access the settings on your computer and work on it. If you have an iPhone, is the same way as swiping on the other iPhones, swiping down on the newer versions, swiping up. It depends on the settings on your iPhone. So it's the same way. You'll be able to change the settings that way. Any other phone has got that. You know, on your phone, you can find a quick way. It's either you swipe up or to the side. It depends on what your phone is. You're able to find a small area where you can change the settings. And this is very useful. You can customize this by going to system settings, control center, and change how the settings work. Maria, we good?
Hello.
Ah, I can hear you. Okay, Maria went back on mute. Okay, so then there you are. You're able to change those settings by going to customize control center. So I'm going to go back, and I know I'm moving you fast through this because I want to take you through the entire system. But at the end of the video, if you didn't hear me at the beginning, at the end of the presentation, probably in the next 15 minutes, I'll give you a link to a video, and then you can then spend the rest of the 15 minutes of the class going through that video. And you can log out. You don't have to log back in while you are watching the video. You can log out and then watch the video and see the difference between using a Windows computer and a MacBook computer. But before we get to the next 15 minutes, let me take you through the other features that are available that you can use on a MacBook. But these features, as I am showing you, features that are useful to use. There is more to using a MacBook than this. When we went through the navigation and I was trying to show you the control center, I went past, I said, I saw on your right, you're going to find the time, the date, and I talked of Siri. So if you can see there on the screen, there is Siri. Siri is just next to the date. If you clicked on Siri, and you spoke to Siri, Siri will be able to do things. Siri will assist you to type. Siri will assist you to set up a meeting. It's a PA on your computer. On a computer, it's a borrowed concept, but the original Siri came with iPhones. But now you can also find Siri on your computer. You can also ask Siri questions like, hey, Siri, what is the rand dollar exchange today? Because I'm happy. You see, because I'm sitting next to my phone. So when I said that, my phone actually did what I say it does. It went and checked the $1 rate, and it produced, and you heard it speak to me on the other side. That was my phone, not the computer. For the computer to do it, I'll need to click the button. But the phone, the moment I say, hey, and I mention that assistant's name, it listens and it will tell. A very nice feature of it I like is you walking around and you hear very nice music, and then you ask what's that. It will be able to tell you the name of the song, place it, and all of that, which is very nice. You're able to grab music on the go. So Siri is a feature you can use. It's available for your use, and they give you different tips of how you can use it. There's a whole debate and discussions and tutorials on how to use Siri online. So if you want to learn more how to use Siri, if you do have a MacBook or an iPhone, you can simply go to YouTube and type how to use Siri, and then you'll be able to use Siri effectively. I'm going to pass Siri, get notifications. I've talked to you about it earlier and said your computer is able to provide you with notifications. You can see an example of those notifications there. These notifications, they come date, time, to-do list. If they get irritating, you can remove them by following the steps provided there, and you change and you remove notifications on the menu bar. You can also change, if your MacBook is linked to your watch, you can change your watch typeface also on your MacBook, or you can also use your MacBook to see different time zones. If you work with international clients, it helps so that you don't call a client in the middle of the night. So it helps you to do that. So those are the features you can find under notifications. You can navigate later. I won't speak too much about navigations. I'll just pass it. I'm going to go to a feature that you and I will probably use a lot if you are using a MacBook. So we said when you look at a MacBook at the bottom, it has got the same thing that you would have thought of as a taskbar in Windows, where you found Start, where you found Explorer in Windows, where it gave you a space where you can click and you go to files. Same thing. It's exactly the same place in the MacBook. It's at the bottom. The difference though is the MacBook One does not give you the Start button. The Start button, which is an Apple icon, we said earlier in the lesson, is at the top. So you need to go to the top right. And those of you who are like me are old school, what would you say? You say, it's not in the fridge. It's where? Yes, it's on top. If you remember the advert, you can write in the chat to help others who don't know what the advert that was. Those were the good days of listening to the radio. Okay, so you're looking at the bottom. So the first thing you will see there is Finder. Finder is like Explorer on Windows. Like if you were to double click on the old Windows version, if you were to double click my computer, you double click my computer on the old, it shows you the entire storage drive. In the new computers, is computer. If you click on PC, it shows you the entire storage of that computer. The same. If you want to do it here, you do it on Finder. But the discussion, though, is not really about Finder. It's about that Finder is one of the apps. If you click on it, you'll be able to open an app called Finder for you to be able to find your files. Explorer is one of the apps. If you clicked on it right now, you and I are using Explorer. How did I open it? I went to the bottom of the dock, clicked on Explorer, it opened. If I want to check my SMSs, I'll click on SMS. So the common programs that you use will be on the dock. So that area in Windows, it's your taskbar, but in Apple computers, they'll call it the dock, but it's exactly the same thing. So you can also drag and drop applications on the dock. The same way you remember the other day when we talked, what is it, Tuesday? We said you can drag and drop applications from the desktop and you can drop them on your taskbar, and then in the future you can just simply use the taskbar to access. And if you went through those lessons on YouTube, quick 15 minutes how to use Windows, probably somebody says something like that, so it's easier for you to access this. The most familiar feature though of the dock is on the right, the far right. You can see it's written trash. It's always there. What is that? It is, if you followed Windows through the years, Windows always had something called the recycle bin. I don't know if that's what's called now. The recycle bin is where you went on Windows to locate any file which was deleted, but which was not permanently deleted. Remember, in Windows, you can permanently delete a file by pressing Control Delete. Then it deletes it permanently. But if you simply press delete, it just goes to your recycle bin, and you can actually recycle it from the recycle bin. The same way, here, when you delete something, it goes into the trash can. But once you've deleted stuff and it's gone to the trash can, you can right click on that trash can and say empty bin. The moment you click on empty bin, everything is now gone forever. It is on your right by default. The download folder will always be there. The download folder in this instance is that folder where if you download anything in a MacBook, goes under downloads. It's a default setting. Unless if you change the setting to say, if I download things, they must now go to Dropbox, and in Dropbox, they must go to a certain folder. That's what's going to happen because you redirected it. But if you don't tamper with it, it will go under Finder, Downloads, it will be there. You remember earlier I said to you, there is something that looks like an hour, that looks more like a gear sign, and you'll be able to change settings. That is the settings, the one that's next. You've seen the trash, downloads folder, settings. That's a quick access to the settings. And the other one, you have guessed right. The A1 is the apps, where the app store where you can click and get the apps. 90% of programs or apps you use on a MacBook, they come from an app store. Old versions of Windows, you had to install a program either by downloading it or by using a CD. But I see then that Windows now also have some form of app store where you can download. The concept of app store is very simple to understand. It's the same as the one on your cell phone, like Google App Store on your iPhone. Same concept. On the MacBook, it just mirrors the very same thing you do on your cell phone. You click on App Store. Some apps are free. For example, WhatsApp. But some apps are not free, like WhatsApp Professional. Then you buy WhatsApp Professional, you connect probably 2 or 3 numbers on WhatsApp Professional. Microsoft Office. If you're going to use a Windows computer, you would have to go to the browser and probably go to Google and say, install Windows. You would have to click, you would install Microsoft Office. You probably have to click one of the search results that says Office 360, and you would have to log in if you have a username and password. But generally, it will say to you, buy, and you will then have to put in new username, password, your credit card details, and then you'll be able to download. But differently, if you do it in a MacBook, you click on App Store and it's listed as one of the apps. Click on it, it will install. And if it needs money, it will simply tell you that, do you want this to be paid from your Apple account? If you click yes, it will pay from your Apple account. Solve the issue of what is Apple account. Then now that we are talking about Apple accounts, remember, a MacBook follows the same theme or idea you would have found in an iPhone. So when you install your iPhone, you probably have the username, which will be your iStore account. You need to put in a credit card of sorts so that you'll be able to, or even a debit card, so that you'll be able to buy applications. Once you do that, next time you buy an application, all you need to do is to authorize the purchase. It goes through. You don't have to put a credit card in it every time you do it. The same way on your MacBook, all it will require you to do is to put in the password of your Apple account, and you'll be able to put the password. If you're using one of these newer MacBooks, all you simply do is actually put your thumb on the top right corner, and then it will simply load everything and it goes right through and do a purchase for you. So these are things that I'm talking to you and you are enjoying the discussion around, wow, this is how I get an app installed and everything. But how you launch these things? You launch these things on a dock, the same as Microsoft Word. And remind me again, the quickest way to do anything on a MacBook, Command, space, then Spotlight will come up. Type something on Spotlight, then Bob's your uncle. It will give you an option. So if we wanted to find Microsoft Word, and you can see it's not here. We wanted to find Microsoft Word and we really are in trouble. We don't know where to find Microsoft Word. So we'll press on Command, spacebar, and we type Word. If Microsoft Word is installed on your computer, it will be one of the options. You click on it, then it will open Microsoft Word for you. But going forward, the moment you open it, it will start appearing on the dock. And the more you use it, it becomes a feature on the dock. You can see that the things like Note is a common feature on this person's computer. Something like SMSs, videos are common features because the calendar, the person uses these things often. They will now appear on the dock. Well, I'll go back now that we've discussed how to use the dock. Probably now discuss the last thing. How are we doing towards 15 minutes? We're right on track, Dineke. We're right on track. Like 3 minutes to go. Organize your files in Finder. So earlier I've said to you, okay, you need a video or a tutorial, which I will do first before I even give you a video on how to organize your files. What I will post for you at some point, it will be a more advanced feature of how you organize things. But what I'm discussing now is, if you're going to look for your files on a MacBook, the easiest way to do it is to go to the bottom left corner and look for the smiley face with a gray blue face on it. If you click it, this will be the result. This box will be the result. This box I'm talking about is the Finder box. Finder is exactly as you would have found Explorer in Windows. It will help you to explore the files on your computer. You would be able to go to different locations. You can see now the user has clicked on desktop, so you can see the things that he has on his desktop. If he clicked on iCloud Drive, you will see the things he's got on iCloud Drive. Another popular one, downloads. If he clicked on downloads, you'll see downloads. And later you were saying, but okay, fine. You're saying for me to find Microsoft Word, I need to command space. Ish, that sounds complicated. You can find any other program that is installed on your MacBook by simply going to Finder, Applications on the left. So you can see on the left, it starts with AirDrop, Recent, which is the recent document that you've been using and applications. It's followed by Applications. If you click on Applications, you will now be able to see the window populated with all the applications you have ever installed on this computer will now be there, including Microsoft Word. You can double click on it and open Microsoft Word. To me, That is too much work. Quick command, space, MS Word pops up, click, it opens. Sometimes you don't even have to type MS Word. Like you can say affidavit. If you type affidavits, you normally type them in Word. So if you type affidavits, the affidavits will appear different ones. Probably the template you use regularly will appear. If you click on it, it will open, of course, along with Microsoft Word. So that's the quickest way of doing it, the way you would have generally done it in a Windows computer. There they go. They say you'll be able to see your stuff. You'll be able to access everything everywhere. You can organize your folders, move them around, put them in different storages. You can clean up a messy desktop by moving things into the trash or bin, as we have said. You can choose the view, whether you want things listed, whether you want things tiled, or whether you want things in icons. You can send files to different folders by clicking and dropping them into the different folders. You can also share files with other users, or you can also sync your MacBook with other devices. Remember, like we said, your MacBook work through the entire value chain. So if you've got a MacBook, same account which you use to log into your MacBook, if you use it on your cell phone and you use it on your iPad and you use it on your watch, all those four things will see the same thing. So if somebody sends you an email, you'll see it on your watch. Then you can quickly open it on your cell phone and you approach your MacBook, you can continue on the MacBook. Or if you just can't find the MacBook, you were watching a movie, you can do it on your iPad. So you're able to seamlessly work through these devices. You can start a draft in an iPad. For example, like I said, you are in a meeting, just set up a draft and you write what the client is saying. I prefer using notes. So you go to notes, you start typing up what the draft. Once you finish, you save that draft. It will appear on your cell phone. It will appear on your MacBook. Easy. You don't even have to look for it. If you go under notes, it will be as if you were typing it on the MacBook. So that's what they mean by sync. These devices will then sync and they work together. Shortcuts, you on keyboards and mouse, you'll be able to do shortcuts. For example, the left click on the MacBook mouse doesn't work. So when you buy that mouse, after you spend your hard-earned 2,500, please don't try this at home. And then you can use any other mouse. You don't really need to buy that mouse. But if you really like to fancy it up, go and buy it. If you click on the left-hand side and you try to left click, it doesn't. You have to go to preferences and enable shortcuts clicking the left click option. By default, it only clicks on the right. Of course, if you're like me, you're left-handed, you'll even do worse. You'll go there and swap the buttons around and move the left button to be the right button, the right button to be the left button. That's why I'm saying to you left click. In your case, probably you're saying, what do you mean left click, Mr. Pala? I actually right click. Yeah, you right click. But in my case, I left click because I swapped the buttons around. So if you want to use that mouse, which I don't recommend you should, it's not that user friendly. You'd go in and change its settings. The keyboard the same. If you plug it connects the keyboard connects by Bluetooth. You change the settings. It's expensive for nothing. If you've got a MacBook, don't buy an external keyboard like that. If you want to use an external keyboard, get a gewone keyboard, plug it under USB port. You'll be able to use your keyboard happily ever after. You don't need to buy the expensive one. But then again, you being you, because our 45 minutes is over. You don't listen. You want to go and buy the keyboard. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a very interesting discussion on how to use MacBooks. So I am going to switch screens. So you can see for you switch screens, I'm now copying for you the link. Where's the link now? Copy the link. and I go to your class. Well, your class screen is not shared, so you won't see me do it. But then I'll go to your class at the bottom and paste you the link. You can use that link to try and access. Let me see if it's actually opening the right things. Let's see.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anson Alexander, and welcome to my updated guide to switching from PC to Mac.
Yes. Go with that guy. He knows what he's doing. But then it's not the only one. You can look at the other guides on YouTube. Like, remember I said, have fun looking at it. Don't scratch your head and you start taking notes and everything. No. If you've got a MacBook, you probably know how to use it. And if you don't, go on YouTube and learn how it works. If you don't use a MacBook every day, you look at these video tutorials just to see the difference between a MacBook and a Windows computer. That's what I'm interested in. So that if a client walks in and say, can you please help me get a file from my MacBook and put it on your computer? Is the affidavit that you wanted me to amend? You should be able to get that affidavit easy peasy. Now, if everybody in the office is stuck and nobody knows how to use a MacBook and the client is standing here, we have a problem. So learn how to do it. It's easy. And later, perhaps, if you want to switch allegiance, you come to the other world. Welcome to the MacBook world, and then you can use a MacBook. Now that you've looked at the two worlds, you ask me, which one works better? Well, those who use MacBooks because they spend money on it, they tend to say that, yeah, MacBooks work better. I think they want to make themselves feel good about it. No. I've spent years using Windows and I've actually done A+ and some programming on it. It's better to use a Windows computer. It's hassle-free. And most of the applications you will get are free. So you can get a lot of stuff done. And there's a lot of sharing of things between the Windows community. That's so easy to get. Most of the things you get in a Windows computer, you come into a MacBook, you'd have to pay for those things. So there you are. Mava? I'll set it on MacBook, Mava. Just for control. No, we will just ask the general discussions on how to use each and all of that. It's not going to be a very complicated issue. And I've put for you, Mava, and now that you're saying you're not hearing the audio, you check the link I put. It should be able to assist. And I'm typing for you and say, check the link I put. For you. It will assist, no hard and fast rule about it. I wanted you to see the difference. Yes, Mava, it's a very expensive sport. No? Don't play that sport unless you really, really, really want to go there. Use a Windows computer. It is a better computer. Guys at the office are migrating to MacBooks for fun, but the reality is it's still affordable to use a Windows computer. Ladies and gentlemen, we have done what we needed to do. Now you know the difference, and now you know when you play around with it, you actually see the costings, advantages, and disadvantages of using the two operating systems. Going forward, when I'm going to discuss with you Microsoft Word and things, I'll discuss it with you as if you were using a Windows computer. Thank you very much. See you on Saturday on this platform as we discuss the assessments, and I'll take you through the formative assessments, what they look like, and we'll probably sit together and do one assessment or two so that we can work together and sort it out. Then you get the groove of it. Mel?
Mr. Paula,
Yes.
sorry to interfere. I heard this morning you mentioned that for the people that wish to attend can come to lead. I'm not sure if you want to extend the invite here as well. So that I can
I don't know if
more
I
or
like
less-
these guys now. Hey, Mel.
so I can more or less have some sort of indication how many people to expect.
Yes, Kuku, you can come. Tineke, you can come. Junita, you can come. Yes.
Because I obviously
Come to
in terms of parking, I need to know how many people to expect, Mr. P.
Yeah, they can come, but I don't know if you can sort us out for parking, but they can come. That would be nice.
Yeah, so by maybe by show of hands, can I just have indication or in the chat function, how many people can we expect? Reason why I'm asking, on Saturday the school is also running.
Oh,
So I just need to have some
school,
sort of yes, the school is also running. They also have a class on Saturday. If you don't mind. Thank you.
Mel, we can get, if the parking is full, but if people don't mind walking, there's also a mall next door where they can park and just jump over the other side. Will that work?
I don't think it will be full, Mr. P. What we can do is just that's why I'm asking by show of hands. We can arrange in the basement.
Wow, yes.
Yes. But some sort of indication, if we're more or less 10 people, I don't think it would be an issue.
Okay.
But show of hands would really, really, really assist me in organizing parking and that.
And just also send us an email or something during the week if you're coming through, just by tomorrow.
Not during the week, Mr. P. Tomorrow
By
is
tomorrow,
already
yeah.
Friday.
By tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow.
I think your week is too long, Lala.
Yes. Oh, it's a long week. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thanks. We can log off and go home. Junita, I think this matter is done. Thank you very much.